Shalom, brothers and sisters. Peace be with you, and with your spirit. Lift up your glass. We lift it for some tea. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey guys.
Sorry that you had to interrupt our peaceful time there. Rather, sorry that our peaceful time was impeding on the podcast.
That's right.
But thanks for joining.
Thank you very much.
Exciting podcast today. As you can see, we're dressed as we normally do when we do yoga.
Yes, because that's what we're going to be talking about today.
We're talking about yoga, and the title of today's podcast is...
Remember my title? Yoga. Is it the devil's dance?
I don't know.
A very contentious issue within Christian circles.
But, you know, you've got to try to talk about these things. Otherwise, you know.
You got it.
You got it.
Anyway, yeah, so we're going to be talking about, what's the deal with yoga? Is it bad? Is it good?
Is it neutral?
Is it neutral? Is it a problem at all?
I don't know, but these yoga pants are pretty rocking.
I don't think they're yoga pants.
I think they are now.
I think you should definitely try turning up to a yoga class in that attire, just to see what people's reactions are.
I mean, why would I turn up in a tire? Like, that's just impractical. I'd be like stretching, and then there's like all this rubber.
That's the whole thing about yoga, is about stretching, right?
I'd be pretty tired, I must say.
Anyway, what tea have we got?
We have a tea called Ayurvedic. I really struggle there because it's like spelt like a weird Dutch word.
Well, I was going to say it, but I forget what it's called.
Very good. So Aaron suggested this to us. We said, hey, we're doing a podcast on yoga. We need a tea, something that's going to rejuvenate us. You know, getting our chi. You know, chi. Right?
Getting our chai, rather.
Chai tea. Yeah. So this is Ayurvedic tea chai. So it's got a whole bunch of spices, including pepper rose.
Holy basil.
Holy basil, pepper rose,
cinnamon.
Anyway, it's been brewing for like 15 minutes, so let's just pour the thing. It smells amazing though. It smells like a winter tea. Man, I clearly need to actually. Like, should I be doing some yoga now? Because I'm super tight. I'm super tight.
I don't know. Maybe you should just sit across the yoga more often.
Well, I also injured my knee in football.
Maybe if you just do some physiotherapy.
Well, I did that. This is the problem. Anyway, we can talk about that another time. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to?
Yeah, everyone wants to know. You know, they want to keep up with our lives now that we're famous. We're on iTunes, etc., etc.
Well, essentially, I've been doing work.
And anything non-essential? That's good.
No, nothing non-essential.
Okay.
All really essential work. We're doing a retreat for Rosemary College the first week of July at the chaplaincy, and so I've been working on that, and we're staying open late tonight, and so
Soup and study sessions.
Soup and study, one more week.
Yeah, that's right.
So
students have been having a lot of exams.
Yeah, if you're a student and you want to stay back and get some food and some study done, then this is the place to go. We'll sort you out. We'll sort you out. Yeah.
Well, this morning I went to an gastro appointment. So everyone wants to know the details of that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post all the details online. No, I'm kidding.
There's going to be a link on the podcast webpage about Dom's gastro appointment.
Pictures and stuff like that.
He opened a webpage for it.
Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Actually, nothing happened. He just said, oh yeah, good to check up. I was like, come on, man. At least make my time worth it. Speaking of making time worth it, I think we should just crack on into this topic because it's just so much to talk about.
You got to just do it.
Okay? So yoga, it's highly contentious.
Yes.
Some Catholics, just say some Christians, say it is the devil's dance.
Yeah, people say it's evil.
Yep.
And you shouldn't do it because you'll go to hell. And there've been lots of claims. There was that one article you saw that said the Vatican's head exorcist.
Yeah.
But then we found out the website was a bit dodgy.
It was dodgy as.
Yeah, so a bit sensationalist.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I mean, I don't really know that much about yoga. Like, do you know any yoga moves that you can kind of just maybe show me?
I don't know any. I don't know the movements, but I know the names of them. Like the downward facing dog, and then like.
I'm sure that's what do they look like. Something a bit like. This is awkward.
How is it? I'm just gonna leave. I'm going.
I don't even know. Is it like just kind of? No. Well, we can try it out later, maybe.
Yeah.
There's something about salute to the sun, eh?
Oh yeah.
Salute to the sun, and we will become.
Anyway, so it comes from like Hinduism essentially. In fact, apparently it predates Hinduism, but Hinduism like formulated it. Like
Predate, isn't that like when you just meet a girl?
Tinder predate.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it predates.
Hinduism, and then Hinduism formalized it, and it's even used in Buddhism and various other different Eastern religions. And so that's where it comes from. But it's made its way over to the the West. So S, but with a W in front. From the East to the West, it's come. As a lot of Eastern religions have piqued the interest in us Westerners. In fact, I started my degree in Wales on religious studies and theology, and the thing that's piqued my interest was Buddhism.
You in Wales?
Yeah. I had a whale of a time.
Oh, blowhole. I couldn't think of a pun for that one.
Oh, it came in right on the tail of that.
Oh,
blowhole. There wasn't anything you can think of. Anyway.
All my jokes were just flubber.
That's what got me interested in religious studies and theology, was like Buddhism and this like Eastern philosophy that seems so cool and it's peaceful, and these are the things that people say
it's attractive. Right?
Yeah,
it seems like a good lifestyle.
It's just very different from the West, and I think that's what attracted me initially. And I think a lot of people, you often hear a lot of people saying, "Yeah, actually, I don't like religion, but I'm quite interested in Buddhism."
Yeah, that's the thing, eh?
Because it's bald people wearing orange.
And it's and you want to be like Doctor Strange, and but a lot of the time it's smorgasbord religion, right? So it's like I want some of the values of religion, but I don't want to commit to a tradition. And so you've got Catholics who would say, you're doing yoga is the devil's dance, and then the other side who'd be like, no, you can do whatever you want. You can do any kind of yoga, no matter if it's the spiritual stuff or if it's non-spiritual. Yes. I think that's the first clarification that we should make. Is that yoga, what if one of those positions I just did, which I'm pretty sure I was just prone, so it's not a position, but what if that was a yoga position, Am I technically doing yoga?
Yes, you're going to hell.
Okay. No, it's nice knowing you guys.
Seeing hell suckers. No, there is the physical element of yoga, the stretching, the breathing, which causes a certain state of relaxation, which is cool. And so if you wake up in the morning and you go, and that happens to be a yoga position, you're not doing yoga, you're just stretching, and that's cool. You're allowed to stretch. You're allowed to stretch.
If you wake up in the morning at 4:45 and you just want to do a little yoga, you're going to hell.
That's a new song that Don's working on right now. Look it up, Reinhardt on SoundCloud. So do like just stretching, not yoga. But because there's two sides to yoga. There's the physical side, and then there's the philosophy which goes with it. And this is where it gets a bit hairy, because they are intertwined. And so the philosophy side teaches things like monism, which is like God is everything, and everything is God, and we are part of everything, and we are one with everything, and nothing is separate from anything else. There's no distinguishing features from anything. And which is incorrect. We have skin which separates us from everything else.
It's an erroneous philosophy. And it's incompatible with the Catholic philosophy, worldview, spirituality. So when looking at that, it's kind of like, if you are to engage spiritually with yoga, then there are a whole bunch of other things that you should be doing. Like you should be accepting that, that philosophy of, the world is one, I'm one with the world. And because it goes against Catholicism, it's like, well, that's not only useless, it's actually counterproductive to your faith. And so then I think it's pretty, even that alone seems like a good enough reason to be able to say, don't, like a African guy now.
Well, I am.
You're like a freaking guy. Even that alone is enough, I think, to say, don't practice yoga spiritually. Don't practice spiritual.
So what happens if the rec center are putting on a yoga class, or you even see some people can they say yoga be baptized and made Christian? Now, the church, the magisterium, hasn't actually said anything official on this.
There's no encyclical on yoga.
No church father has said, yoga is probably going to send you to hell, or actually yoga is completely harmless. And there are people that like there's holyyoga.net, and they've tried putting Christian teaching into yoga stretching, and so therefore divorcing it from the spiritual Eastern spirituality and putting, and it's kind of like 6 of 1. It's like, I guess you could do that. However, you do have people that have practiced yoga in the past, and then they convert to Christianity, and they say, actually, no, you cannot, you can't separate the two. You can do the physical acts divorced from the spirituality. However, you won't have the same effect. You won't have the same relaxation. You won't have the same physical bonuses.
Yeah. So it's like you can do it, but it's going to be imperfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. And and like you're saying, but then it's like, then my question is, well, what's the point in doing a half-ass, kind of yoga? I mean, and I guess there are still physical benefits, right? And it's like you're stretching, and I don't know if they've proven, that yoga is good for you on a physical side. But then it's like, okay, great. Well, if it still can be good for you physically, then what's the issue? And because when we were talking about this with Father Chris the other day, and I was kind of like trying to think of an analogy for yoga, and it's really hard because yoga is a very unique thing. So I was kind of like, imagine that if you were you found out about this ancient prayer to Baal, the false god, pagan god Baal. And it went like whatever. It kind of sounds like Pingu, but it went something like that, and it turns out it was really good for your
diaphragm.
Your diaphragm. It was really good for being able to for your speech, for overcoming speech impediments, etc. And then you're like, well, I'm not using it as a prayer to Baal for which it was designed. I'm just using it for the fact that it helps with my speech impediment. And I was like, is that not problematic in the sense that it was designed for worship of Baal? Like, can you separate it? And so that's when I guess intentions.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not just intention, but the problem, I guess, with us being human is we are changeable. And so, and what we need to do is we need to be changing ourselves in a Christian manner. We need to be conforming ourselves onto Christ all the time. And now this doesn't mean we need to be in church on our knees in front of the Blessed Sacrament or praying a rosary or something. We just need to be living our life in a way that is Christian. And so the way we would do that is by doing Christian things, charitable things, helping the poor, social things, eating with family and friends, praying grace, and inviting God into everything we do, just in a little way. Like there's Opus Dei, which is a group that started by Saint Jose Maria Escrivá, and they talk about, and their whole point is bringing God into your work. Opus Dei. That's pretty much what it means. And so there's that inviting God into everything. So it's like, take that concept. That's what being a Christian is. Inviting Christ into everything, conforming ourselves under Christ all the time. Now, then all of a sudden someone says, "Hey, why don't you come and do this thing?" That it's mainly just stretching, but it's kind of contrary to Christianity. But it's mainly just the stretching part. So just ignore the other part. And it's kind of like whoa. It's like, well, why? It's like, well, it helps you relax, and it's like, well, there are other ways of relaxing. And the problem with, like, okay, so you go to one class, and it's like, actually, I did quite enjoy that. Yeah. And it's like, nothing wrong with that, I guess. But what the problem would then be is like, I'm going to go there weekly. And it's like, actually, I get more out of this than I do my Christian thing, so I'm going to kind of put those on the side. Yeah. And then you say, actually, I want to get better at this. So what's the next level? Yeah.
And I actually knew a woman who, I worked with her for about 2.5 years. And she started off just like that. She was she was a little bit into yoga, started going to a few more classes, and then eventually she got really good at it. And she's like, I want to become a yogi. I actually want to teach yoga. What do I have to do? Yogi bear. So then she actually started going to get better at it. The more perfect version of yoga is spiritual yoga. Like that's just a fact, I think, according to the people who really practice it in the East. And so it's like, if you really want to get to that great level, to the upper echelons of yoga, you have to engage with the spiritual. And I think that's just something to keep in mind. It's like, okay, if yoga becomes a lifestyle thing, then it's like, okay, well then that's a whole lot of your lifestyle being taken up by something that is actually foreign, to the faith. And though it may not be necessarily taking you away from Christ actively?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it doing it passively, like you're saying? Is not going towards Christ?
Yeah.
Is that going nowhere, or is that going backwards?
Right. Yeah. I mean, and I think there's two elements. Is like, you know, something can be wrong and not evil. So, like, if I'm, you know, like, most people are probably practicing something of heresy just because it's impossible to know everything of God. And so, just because I'm wrong doesn't mean I'm going to hell. Like, I mean, when I first converted, I really didn't like, I've said this 1,000 times, the Rosary, Mary. Yeah. Doesn't mean I'm therefore condemned. It's just I'm not educated enough in that area yet.
And you don't understand. And it's like...
Yeah, and I may never, but that doesn't mean I'm going to hell either, as long as I'm living that Christian life and seeking God and wanting truth.
And I think it's easy for God, I guess, to understand. Pardon me. It's easy for God to understand our weakness, but it's really hard for us to understand our fellow humans' weaknesses and our own weaknesses. And I think something like yoga, it's really easy to just try and condemn it, you know, flat out, and be like, no, from different religion, it can't have anything good in it. Oh, whoa, probably ever wing.
Yeah.
But you know, like, I think, like Father Chris was saying, all religions are a search for the truth. You know, they're all a search for God.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, you know, like, God is a gracious God, and I'm sure He keeps that in mind when it's like, when people are wholeheartedly actually seeking God through different religions, you know.
Yeah. And so, like, and even so, it's like, if you meet someone from the East and they've been practicing yoga all their life, and all of a sudden they convert to Christianity, saying to them, it's like, you're no longer allowed to practice this because it's evil. It's like, their whole lives they've been doing it, their whole family and all their friends are probably doing it. It's not helping them come closer to Christ. So in that sense, it's kind of like, okay, you're going to have to drop it at some point, but they'll come to realize that if they're seeking truth.
Yeah. But then, and that's like, if somebody has been in it their whole life, and so then the question is like, well, what if I'm like, if someone living in the West and I'm a Catholic, can I then start to engage with it? And this is like the big question: is like, is that is it commendable? Is it something that we should not do?
And we kind of have a piece of scripture to help with this.
It comes from John 4. John 4, when Jesus is talking to the woman at the well.
John 4, chapter 4, verse 22. He says, "You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know. For salvation is from the Jews." Preach it. And
orange juice, cranberry juice.
Yeah, like cran getting in everything. Anyway, so I thought it was interesting there because it says, "You worship what you don't know." And another point backing this up is like, the magisterium hasn't made a comment on this. Now, it isn't because they're avoiding it, but it's because in order to fully understand this, you have to go into it. Yeah. And the magisterium's job is to do exactly not that. It's to go into Catholicism and help us to know Catholicism better. So, of course, they're not going to understand it enough to make a decision on it. Also, you know, that's the point where we should be. Our aim is to be holy in Catholicism, and therefore we should follow our Christian faith, know our scripture, do our, you know, go to our mass and understand the mass as much as we can, which will bring us to, you know, peace, a higher understanding of God, and blessedness. Also, a quote from St. Damien of Molokai. Look him up. There's a movie. It's awesome. He was once asked, you know, do you think Buddhists are going to heaven or they're going to hell? Yeah. But are Buddhists going to heaven? And he says, I don't know if you can get to heaven through Buddhism, but what I do know is that Catholics can go to heaven. I don't know if Buddhists will go to heaven, but I know that Catholics can, because Jesus said so. This is the religion given to us by God, the religion of the Jews. So engaging in something that we're don't know a lot about, you know, you worship who you do not know. You're kind of like dancing with fire. Dancing with fire.
So in conclusion, it's like, well, yoga, okay, perhaps it's one of those things that we just don't know enough about it. So therefore, like, why risk it, really? But in saying that, you know, obviously the choice is up to you, and you may, you know, all be at different stages in your spiritual life. This tea is awesome. Go and check it out.
Very spicy.
Ayurvedic from T2. It's been a pleasure having you on the podcast. Sorry that we've cut it off so suddenly, but you keep it Catholic.
God bless.
Namaste. No, namaste.
Namaste and clean up all this work. Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.
Make sure that you check us out on our YouTube channel, Auckland Catholic Tertiary Chaplaincy.
You can also find us on Facebook, Facebook.com/The Chaplains.
And our Instagram account, which is Auckland Catholic Chaplaincy.
We're also now on iTunes. Just search up Gregorian Chat.
Boom.
That's right.
Thanks for listening.
God bless.